and welcome to Joy in Our Town. I'm Sherry Duckworth, and joining me today is Mr. Arthur Porter. He is the co-founder for Dallas Designing Dreams. Welcome back to the show, Arthur.
Sherry, thank you for having me back.
I love having you on the show because what you do, I think, is just so cool. And I love kids, and I love art, and so this is just a great combination of both.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
For those who are new, who haven't seen your last segment, let's talk a little bit about who you are. Tell us why Dallas Designing Dreams decided to open its doors, and give us a little history.
Well, Carla Robinson and myself, she's my co-founder. She's a master seamster. I'm a master leather craftsman. And we decided to take our gifts and share them with young people. So we decided to start Dallas Designing Dreams 9 years ago because, you know, we hear so many people complaining about young people, and we always say, why complain? You know, if you're not going to do anything about it, well, don't complain. So we decided to open up our doors and start teaching entrepreneurship to youth.
It's so exciting for a young person to hear, you know what, you can have your own business.
Right.
You know, I just think that is so awesome that you all have that influence on them at such a young age. What age do you normally start working with kids?
Well, we normally start at 9 years old. But, for example, we have parents that brings in 7- and 8-year-old. Now, we will talk with the kid. If that kid is very passionate about what they want to do, we will start working with them.
I love that. And what area of the Metroplex do you normally get kids from?
Well, you know, we really don't go out and search for the kids. Some way they find us. It's by word of mouth. The parents or some other students may tell them, and then that's how they find us, is by word of mouth.
And what are your normal, hours of operations? We
operate from Tuesday through Saturdays from 8 a.m. till 7 p.m.
Okay. So do you normally see a lot of kids come in after school?
No, not really, because during the summer we will work with kids. We have a very limited schedule that we work with them, and that is like 2 or 3 days a week.
Okay.
During the weekdays, we only work with them on Saturdays.
On Saturdays.
And that's, you know, and we give them their studio time from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
So when they sign up for your program, what kind of walk us through what happens?
Well, what happens is that normally the parents will contact us and say, oh, I have a son or a daughter, and I would really like to get them into your program. We would always say, bring your son or daughter and let us talk with them, because we want to talk with the son or daughter first, because we want to know if they really want to do this, because if they commit to us, we will stay with them as long as they stay with us. Now, once they start to lose interest, well, then we say, okay, your time is up. And we tell them this from the very beginning. And matter of fact, we have a young man now that's, he's 13, and he's been with us since he was 5 years old. Oh. And this young man have started his own line of products and his company, because we want to try to teach them about branding. We want to teach them about entrepreneurship and how they can take whatever ideas that they have and they can take that and turn that into a business.
Turn it into a business. How fun is that, from 5 to 13?
Yes.
So he probably knows a whole lot more than even some of us adults do about having our own business and being an entrepreneur. That's pretty exciting.
Well, it really is, because now he's teaching us. Because when he first came in, he was using pencil to draw. Now he's using the computer and a pad, and he's learning and teaching us things that we had no idea that these computers could do.
Gotta love technology these days, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's pretty exciting what these kids can do with a computer in front of them nowadays. Which is pretty interesting to hear that, you know, at 13 he has, you know, his own business already.
Yes.
That's really incredible. How long, or I should say, at what age do you stop helping them?
Well, we stop when they stop.
Okay.
I mean, we just had 4 students to graduate from high school, and they have gone off to college. But some of those students was with us when they was 15 years old. So we will stop when they stop.
So do they ever feel overwhelmed with the concept of being an entrepreneur?
No, because we don't put any pressure on them. We allow them to move on their own pace. If we see that this product that they're producing have a very big potential, we don't try to put pressure on them.
Okay.
We would ask them a question: are they ready to start to sell it? Are they ready to start setting up a website? We will let them tell us when they're ready.
So I'm very curious. Can you give me some examples of some of the things that the kids are selling? What are some of their products?
Well, I want to show you this. This is a T-shirt that one of the same young man that I was telling you that started when he was 5 years old, and now he's 13 years old. Well, what he have done is that now each one of those characters on that T-shirt, the person on the T-shirt that is himself, and the other characters are his pets. So what he have done, he have taken his pets and himself and created these characters. And so not only he's creating these T-shirts, but he's creating his own comic script. And we told him, you know what, you can start creating coloring books for kids. Now, 6 months ago, he didn't want to do this. But then all of a sudden, he said, okay, I'm ready. And once he became ready, we just started showing them all the possibilities.
I think about all the parents who are watching today who have creative kids who draw all these crazy characters that they make up in their head. And you're like, what are you going to do with this?
Right.
Well, you could be an entrepreneur. You could start a business with this. You know, so I think it's very inspiring for parents to hear this, to go, you could do something with this. People who say, well, when I grow up, I want to be, a fashion designer, or I want to be an artist. Well, guess what? You can be.
Exactly.
And here's some examples of some ways you can do that.
Right.
And so I think that's very inspiring. I think walking through his process really helps us to understand how that works, because as a parent, I'm thinking I'm the only one that cherishes those drawings. I'm the only one that thinks that it's amazing art. So it's exciting to know that I can encourage my children and say, you know what, you can do that and you can make that a business, but here's how we do it.
Exactly. But see, it's technology that now allow you to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 years ago, you wouldn't be able to do that.
Sure.
You know, so for example, we purchased the heat press so he can make his own T-shirts. When he started being interested in T-shirts, we say, okay, we'll get the heat press. But before, you had to go to someone else, and they would charge you for minimums, and it was just, it was very hard to do anything. But nowadays, you can do everything for yourself.
I think that's wonderful that, you're able to say, okay, we have the resources. If you have this idea, well, we can help you start that.
Right.
We have the resources here to do that. And if we don't, let's figure out how to get those.
Right.
So I think that's really great. What advice would you give parents when it comes to teaching the kids about taking in their earnings? They have to learn not just how to create the product, but then how am I responsible when I start actually profiting?
One of our volunteers brought us this kit, and it's play money. And what this kit is for is to teach them about how to handle money, how to count out money, because nowadays you just click a button, But we wanted them to be able to learn how to really count money and understand if someone pays something with cash, how to give them the correct amount of change, and so it's all about taking the knowledge that we have as adults and not think that if we show them they won't understand, they will understand.
Because there's the non-glamorous side, obviously, of being a business owner.
Right.
That has to be considered, because I think as a kid, or at least when I was a kid, I only thought about the fun parts of things like that. Oh, I get to be a business owner, I get to be my own boss, I get to make my own hours, I can do whatever I want. But then I don't stop to think about, but that there's taxes that have to be paid.
Right.
And you have to pay your employees, and all of that kind of stuff. So how do you break those realities to them?
Well, for this young man, matter of fact, we're having a show for him this weekend. This would be his first show.
Oh, that's great.
And he had to do his own invitation. he had to do his own T-shirts. He had to go and pick up the T-shirts. His auntie took him to pick them up. He had to bring them back. He had to inventory them. You know, he had to make a decision on which one of his characters are going to be on what shirt. And he had many drawings that he have done, but he had to narrow it down to only 4. You know.
Yeah.
And so. Matter of fact, he asked his mom. He said, "Mom, when we have the show, could you be the one that handle the money? You know, because he's going to have to greet everybody because they're coming to see him."
So he's delegating. Look at that.
Yeah, so.
That's good. And he knows what his strengths are and what they're not.
Exactly. You know, and also we told him, okay, when you do this show, we want you to have a target. We want you to put it on the wall so people can see. And his target is that he wants a new Mac computer.
Aww.
So we say, okay, you have to put on the wall how many T-shirts you need to sell, how many caps you need. You need to put all this information on the wall so people know.
These are your goals.
These are your goals.
Yeah.
And this is your target. Don't just have this show just to have the show. If you have a target, you would hit it because you now have something that you're shooting after.
You're teaching me right now, and I'm like, okay, I need to apply that here and here and here. Because, I mean, it really is something that they can take with them into their adult life. They could be successful business owners, and even if they do work for someone else, that they can be, you know, an employee that really gives into the company that they're working for. So you're really preparing them for adulthood in such a fabulous way. They're going to be just light years ahead.
You know, he always have said he wanted to work for Pixar. Oh. I said, okay, this is what you do. I want you to imagine that they're giving you a call.
Yeah.
If you imagine
His dream
that they're giving you a call, they have already given you that call. So what you have to do now, you have to prepare and be ready for it.
Wow.
And I mean, this kid, when he comes in, he's set at the computer, he will work, he will work. He will work. By 3 o'clock, he gets tired and want to take a nap.
Don't we all? About 3 o'clock, I'm ready to take a nap too.
So we let him take a nap, you know. So, but yes, we tried to show them it have nothing to do with age.
Right.
It have nothing to do with age. It have to do with your desire.
That's good.
With your desire. If this is what you desire, you can do it.
Yeah, their dedication, they're driven, they're committed to it, and then you're giving them the tools to know how to do that. What do you say, what advice can you give a parent who has a child that comes to them and says, Mom and Dad, I want to be blank?
I always tell parents, help cultivate that. I mean, even if you cannot see what this child is seeing, work with them.
Yeah.
Start trying to find some kind of way that they could bring this to reality. Because if we start young with them, well then by the time they're 12, 13, 14 years old, we will be very surprised of where they will be. I mean, because some of the parents can end up working with their child.
True.
You know, so we always say just because kids have these ideas and we think they're just kids.
We dismiss them thinking, oh, it's just childhood, you know, dreams.
But it's not. It is a passion that God has put in us.
Yeah.
At a very young, when we are born, we are given this passion.
I agree. We were born with these desires and passions and ideas. And it's great to have somebody cultivate those seeds and to water them and encourage us in those areas. So I'm just so glad you're out there for our kids.
Thank you.
And if for anybody who wants more information, they can visit DallasDesigningDreams.org, which is your website. And thank you so much, Arthur, for being here today.
Sherry, thank you for having me back.
And thank you all today for watching us here at Joy in Our Town.